John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, was just released this past weekend and was directed by Chad Stahelski, who, I'm not sure if you knew this.
Oh, The Matrix, yes.
Yeah, he did a lot of the choreography with The Matrix and the stunts and things.
Yeah, he was the stunt double for Keanu Reeves.
Oh, he was?
Oh, you didn't know
I didn't know that. I didn't know he himself was a
smart.
stunt double.
Yeah, he himself was Keanu Reeves' stunt double.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, he also did some choreography for Civil War, too, so that was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, he did. And obviously, the guy's a talented director. He directed the first two John Wick movies, and he's directing this
debut
one
was
now.
John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I mean, the 3 movies he's made are all, great movies.
Just like the second chapter in this franchise, this third one picks up right where the previous one left off.
Mm-hmm.
John Wick is being hunted by hundreds, maybe even thousands of assassins from around the world. Probably more like thousands. And man, it just starts off with action right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
There is a knife fight sequence that is possibly my favorite fight sequence in the whole movie. And it's towards the very beginning.
Top 3, yes.
It is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
It is so enjoyable to watch that. I had a smile on my face like the whole time.
It's funny the build up before they started doing the whole knives.
Yeah, so they're fighting in an antique store.
Yeah. And then they look
they're
around.
fighting hand to hand and they realize, oh, there's knives here.
So they break glass, just start throwing. Oh, it was awesome.
I enjoyed that element of comedy they threw in this one as well. I felt like there was more comedy in this one than the other two entries.
I agree, yeah. But it wasn't super overbearing. One of the characters was a little bit weird, but...
I like the premise of this movie, where John Wick is going to have to be all on his own, without the help of the Continental, all these other assassins. Everyone is against him, it seems. I like the premise of it.
Which what they've set up is like the Continental, and all of its resources is a lot. They get everything from that. Their suits that are bulletproof, all their guns and everything. So without all those resources and all the safe houses, that's like a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And you really see how big of a deal it is when it's gone.
Exactly, yeah. I thought another cool thing that they did at the beginning was when he's looking for a gun and he finds the gun, but like the bullets don't fit, so he disassembles 2 guns and creates one for one shot, just shoots the guy and then just keeps running. I thought that was kind of a cool part as well.
Very resourceful guy, John Wick.
Yeah, it's cool. They definitely showed more of his skills, and they've done a great job with each movie showing what he's capable of. Because you hear, oh, he's one of the greatest assassins ever in the first one, but you don't necessarily see every skill he has.
So yeah, I really like that first act of the movie. I like the premise. He's just trying to survive, barely. The second act starts, and you kind of see that he is trying to find a way out from his mistake. So the second act kind of drags a little bit, but the third act, man, that's crazy. Bringing that all back together. We're not going to spoil anything that happens, but there is probably the biggest fight scene we've seen in this whole franchise up to this point. I really like how Stahelski brought in those 2 guys from the raid. The fight scene with them was awesome. So anyway, I loved that whole battle with them. The whole ending to me was sort of like an ode to older martial arts movies. I'm not going to spoil anything, but you can kind of see where they were trying to give a nod to those older films.
A big thing with this movie is, choreography. Each scene was just wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was executed greatly. I mean, just wow.
Yep.
Crazy, dude.
And that's how I feel about the first 2 John Wick movies as well. Like, this has stayed consistent with the first 2, with having just excellent choreography with the fight scenes. And not only that, but with each fight scene, it's not just the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
They find new ways, new camera angles to bring a villain in to fight the main character, John Wick, or one of his buddies, whoever's fighting with him. And it's very inventive the way they do this. They find different environments for them to fight in, different weapons. Yeah. It keeps you on your toes. Going into this movie, Hunter, I didn't know what Parabellum meant. And we're not going to tell you what it means.
No,
but one of the coolest parts in this movie is when it is explained.
Oh, yeah.
They really did a good job on that part.
Sure.
And Hunter, actually, something I really liked about especially the second John Wick movie is the cinematography of it. And I think that they did a great job in this one as well, but I felt like it was just a tad lacking compared to the first 2.
I can see that. There's the second one was really good with the cinematography. I mean, the different, like, they went to, like, the club and, like, that whole fight scene in the second one.
Yeah, huge wide-angle shots.
Yeah.
Tons of those. And they had them in this. Just they weren't used as effectively, I
can see what you're saying.
Same with the colors as well. The second John Wick movie used those neon colors just so effectively. And this one, they kind of did in this one as well. it just seems like they backed off on that a little bit, which kind of upset me. Because the visuals in those first 2 John Wick movies were pretty stunning.
Oh, yeah.
But my biggest problem with it, Hunter, was the story. And that is because in the second John Wick movie, sorry if you haven't seen it, I don't know why you're watching John Wick 3 if you haven't seen the second one. The very end shows John Wick murdering someone in the Continental in order to get all these assassins off his back, which in turn causes like thousands more assassins to be on his back. Like really he should have been murdered right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
It would make his problems way bigger. He knew it would make his problems way bigger.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying there, but he didn't kill that guy in the Continental to get the assassins off his back. He killed him because he was just mad at the guy, and he's really bad at holding grudges, as we've seen. Because he, after the first one, he was done. It was over, and then that guy pulled out the marker and forced him to come out of retirement when he truly wanted to be done. He was at peace with what happened after the first one, and that's why he killed him. It's just because he was just pissed. It was nothing to do with getting assassins off his back. He knew what would happen if he killed the guy. But
then why did he do it then, Hunter?
Because he's bad at holding grudges.
To me that's not the move of a smart assassin.
Mm-hmm.
That is the move of a lazy writer who wanted a reason for assassins to just be all over him. So his motivation in this movie just hinges on that very poor character decision in the second film. And the entire time I was just thinking of that, like, how is this acclaimed assassin so dumb? Like, how could he have made such a stupid move like that?
Well, I think one reason why he kind of made that decision is because he came out of retirement. He kind of became a changed man because of, the woman he met, his wife, and then all the events that happened. I think his mindset's changed, and he isn't as smart as he used to be.
I would know that, though. I'm not an assassin. Anyone would know that.
Okay.
It's just such an obvious lazy writing decision to me. So the entire second act of this movie drags so much for me. Yes, there's still action in it, but John's goal in this second act is to fix the mistake that he made in the second movie.
Mm-hmm.
He goes on this long, difficult journey. He gets his finger chopped off in order to fix this mistake. So he eventually does reach this place where he's no longer going to be hunted. He kind of redeems himself, and then maybe 10 minutes later in the movie, he goes completely back on that and is just rogue with a bounty on his head again.
But it was a very important 45 minutes, which I don't think it would have been 45 minutes.
It was at least a 45-minute.
I guess anyway, it's introducing a lot of different characters because a lot of the characters that we've been introduced before, like in the first 2, have died.
Yeah,
everybody gets killed. Everyone's been dying. So it's introducing a lot of new characters, kind of setting up its own little universe and expanding on this. Because there hasn't been a lot of time jumps, there hasn't been time jumps.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's all been continuous for 3 movies.
Weeks or so.
So, it's been building this up and showing us how big this assassin world is. Especially with, all the characters it showed in this movie.
Yeah, and it did show new characters, but you can still introduce characters and have a good story to introduce them with.
But to introduce those characters, you would have to have them introduced without John Wick being there, without John Wick going to Morocco, because that's where the guy is.
There's always a way around it. Well, anyway, to me, the story in this one was pitiful. I was very disappointed with the entirety of the story in this one. However, the action makes up for it. You're not watching John Wick for the story. Exactly. You're watching it to see him kill some bad guys.
Exactly.
In the coolest ways possible.
Exactly.
And they deliver on that. It's kind of just a dumb action movie to me, is how I have to view it.
It's a good action movie, especially when they pull out the shotguns. Best scene in the movie, for me.
Yeah, just wait for the shotgun scene. That was a good one, too.
When the shotguns come out.
That is a fun scene.
It is a fun scene.
So, Hunter, what would you give John Wick 3 out of 10?
It's an 8.7 out of 10.
Okay. So, as time has passed since I've watched this, I've liked it less and less the more I thought about it. It was very fun watching it, but I don't think it's as good as the first 2 entries in the series. I'm going to have to give John Wick 3 a 7.5 out of 10. Which is still good. Apparently it's just not as good as Hunters, and he's disappointed by that. Well guys, thanks for checking out our review of John Wick 3. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you for our next review.